Most machines are lucky to last 10, maybe 20 years before breaking down. But what if I told you there are tractors out there that have been running for over 50 years without ever failing? From American icons that became family heirlooms to rugged Soviet workhorses still plowing fields today, these are the tractors that refuse to die. Stick around because some of these machines are still working harder than brand new models, and their stories will blow your mind. Number 1. Ford N Series. The Ford N Series tractors, including the 9N introduced in 1939, the wartime 2N, and the iconic 8N from 1947, are some of the most celebrated tractors in history for their incredible reliability. At a time when many farmers were still relying on horses or older machines, Henry Ford's vision was to build a tractor that was affordable, simple, and tough enough to handle daily farm work. The N Series achieved exactly that, and their reputation for longevity is well earned. Farmers across America and beyond quickly adopted them because they were versatile, easy to repair, and came with innovative features like the 3-point hitch system, which revolutionized farming by allowing farmers to use a wide range of implements. The 4-cylinder gasoline engine was straightforward, with simple carburation and ignition, meaning most repairs could be handled in a farmer's own shed with basic tools. What truly sets the Ford N Series apart is its continued presence even today. 70 or 80 years after they rolled out of factories, you can still find countless 8Ns working on small farms, hobby plots, and even ranches. Many owners pass them down through generations, with minor rebuilds like piston rings, bearings, or carburetor cleanings keeping them in service. One farmer once joked that his 8N had worked longer than he had been alive, and it still started each season without complaint. Their endurance owes much to the vast supply of spare parts available. With millions produced, replacement parts are cheap and easy to find even today. With regular oil changes, greased fittings, and occasional electrical upgrades, these tractors continue to outlive newer machines filled with fragile electronics. The Ford N Series proved that simplicity, good design, and mass adoption could create a machine that doesn't just last decades but becomes a true part of farming heritage. Number 2. John Deere Model A and B. Few tractors carry the legendary status of the John Deere Model A and Model B. Introduced in the 1930s and produced into the 1950s, these machines were built with the philosophy that durability mattered more than anything else. John Deere engineers overbuilt their tractors, using heavy castings, robust bearings, and the company's famous 2-cylinder Johnny Popper engine design. These tractors were so strong that they often outlived the farmers who first purchased them, becoming family heirlooms passed down from one generation to the next. They were also highly versatile, capable of pulling plows, running belt-driven equipment, and powering the many implements that expanded Deere's reputation as a full-line farming company. What made the Model A and B remarkable was their mechanical simplicity. The 2-cylinder design wasn't flashy, but it delivered steady torque at low RPM, ideal for farm work. With minimal moving parts compared to later engines, there were fewer opportunities for catastrophic failures. In addition, Deere supported these tractors with an expansive dealer network that ensured spare parts remained available long after production ended. This meant farmers didn't have to retire their machines simply because a gear or bearing wore out. Instead, they could rebuild and keep going. Stories abound of John Deere tractors from the 1940s still starting up and running daily tasks like mowing or cultivating today. Collectors and restorers love the Model A and B, not just for their historical value, but because they still function exactly as intended. Farmers will often keep an old Model B around as a backup tractor, confident that it will start up even after sitting unused for months. Their distinctive sound, the rhythmic pop-pop of the engine, is part of American farm culture. In many rural communities, it's common to hear that sound at local fairs or tractor pulls, reminding everyone that machines built to last can endure for more than half a century with pride. Number 3. Massey Ferguson 35. The Massey Ferguson 35, introduced in the mid-1950s, is often called the tractor that fed the world. It wasn't just popular in North America or Europe, it was sold across Africa, Asia, South America, and everywhere in between. The MF-35 became the definition of a universal farm machine, known for reliability, affordability, and unmatched durability. Powered by either a gasoline or a Perkins diesel engine, the tractor was designed for simplicity, ensuring that a farmer with basic mechanical skills could keep it running indefinitely. Its moderate horsepower made it perfect for small to mid-sized farms, and unlike bigger, more complex tractors, the MF35 wasn't prone to being overworked or overstressed. One of the secrets to the MF35's longevity is its global parts support. Massey Ferguson established itself as a worldwide brand, and spare parts for the 35 could be found from the UK to India to South America. Even today, entire industries exist to rebuild and support these machines. Farmers in developing countries especially valued the MF35 because it could be repaired under a tree, with simple tools and locally fabricated parts if necessary. This kind of serviceability gave it an edge over more complex tractors, which often required expensive equipment to repair. Many MF35s are still in daily use after 60-70 years, often serving as backup tractors or utility machines on modern farms. Some remain in their original working role, plowing fields, hauling wagons, or pulling seeders, just as they did in the 1950s. Farmers who grew up on these machines often have a deep affection for them, calling them the tractor that never quits. With their rugged build and simple design, the MF35 truly deserves its reputation as one of the longest-running, most dependable tractors in agricultural history. Number 4. Fiat 700 and 500 series. When Fiat introduced its line of mid-sized tractors like the Fiat 500 and 700 series in the 1950s and 60s, they were aiming to capture the European market with machines that were tough, affordable, and built to last. What they created were tractors that have since achieved legendary durability, often running for more than half a century in rough conditions across Europe, the Mediterranean, and South America. Farmers valued them for their rugged diesel engines, simple transmissions, and ability to handle both agricultural and industrial tasks. The Fiat 500 and 700 series became especially popular in countries with demanding climates, from the hot fields of southern Europe to the rugged hills of South America. Their engines were designed to run cleanly and efficiently for thousands of hours without failure, and because Fiat used conservative tuning, the tractors weren't overstressed. The transmissions were also incredibly durable, built to handle continuous heavy loads without breaking down. Farmers often say that their old Fiat tractors never let them down, even after decades of daily use. One reason for their continued survival is Fiat's massive production and distribution network. Spare parts were available across Europe, and mechanics quickly became familiar with their straightforward designs. Even today, local workshops in Italy, Spain, and Argentina continue to service Fiat tractors built in the 1960s and 70s. Many owners report that their Fiats still run on original blocks and frames, with only occasional rebuilds for injectors, pumps, or bearings. Culturally, the Fiat tractors became symbols of European farming progress. They represented modernization while still being accessible to small farmers who couldn't afford larger, more complicated machines. Their rugged orange paint became iconic, and their long lifespans gave families reliable partners in farming for decades. Few tractors can claim to have worked across such varied terrains for so long, making the Fiat 500 and 700 series true legends of longevity. Number 5. International Harvester Farmall. The Farmall series, produced by International Harvester, remains one of the most beloved tractor families in history. Introduced in the 1920s and continuing through the mid-20th century, models like the Farmall Cub, C, and Super C were designed with one thing in mind: row crop farming. Their narrow fronts, adjustable wheelbases, and lightweight designs made them the perfect companions for cultivating corn, beans, and other row crops across America's heartland. But their appeal wasn't just their design, it was their durability. Many Farmalls have now been running for more than 70 years without failing, proving the brilliance of their engineering. At the heart of Farmall's longevity was its simplicity. The engines were small but robust, built to provide just the right amount of power without overtaxing components. Farmers could easily service carburetors, change spark plugs, or adjust valves in their own workshops. Transmission gears and PTO clutches were designed to withstand thousands of hours of use. And when something did wear out, International Harvester's widespread dealer network made spare parts easy to find. Farmalls weren't overcomplicated, and that was their greatest strength. Beyond the mechanics, Farmalls carried cultural weight. Entire generations of farmers learned how to drive on a Farmall, and for many, it was the first machine they ever operated as children. These tractors became symbols of self-sufficiency and American farming resilience. Even today, Farmalls are a common sight at vintage tractor shows and county fairs, where they are proudly displayed by owners who still use them for light chores. Farmalls have lasted because they were designed to be accessible. Farmers could keep them running with a wrench and some elbow grease, ensuring that no breakdown ever meant the end of the machine. This combination of practical design and cultural significance has cemented Farmalls as true 50-year survivors and beyond. Number 6. Bolinder-Munktell Volvo BM. In the cold, unforgiving landscapes of Scandinavia, tractors needed to be tougher than tough. That is where Bolinder-Munktell, later known as Volvo BM, earned its reputation. These Swedish-built machines were designed for heavy-duty work in harsh climates where winter temperatures often dropped far below freezing. Farmers and forestry workers needed tractors that could start reliably in the cold, pull massive loads, and resist wear from mud, snow, and uneven terrain. The Bolinder-Munktell and early Volvo BM tractors delivered exactly that, and as a result, many of them have remained in service for over 50 years. The key to their longevity was a combination of high-quality materials and conservative design. The engines were designed to produce steady, reliable power at low RPMs, which reduced stress on internal components. Heavy cast iron construction ensured that these tractors could withstand not just years, but decades of punishment without cracking or twisting. Unlike some lighter tractors of the time, which could suffer from chassis fatigue, Volvo BM tractors were overbuilt to the point of seeming indestructible. Many are still found today in the forests of Sweden, Norway, and Finland, working with log winches or hauling trailers even after half a century. Another factor in their survival is the way Scandinavian farmers treated their equipment. Because tractors were expensive investments in rural areas, they were often meticulously maintained, stored indoors, and repaired rather than replaced. Spare parts were manufactured locally, and in some cases, farmers even fabricated their own when original pieces were unavailable. Stories abound of Bolinder-Munktell tractors starting up in sub-zero conditions after sitting idle for months, a testament to their design. Today, collectors and enthusiasts continue to restore these machines, not only because they represent agricultural history, but also because they still work as well as the day they were built. Few tractors embody endurance like the Volvo BM. Number 7. Zetor 25 and UR1 series. The Zetor 25, first introduced in 1946 in Czechoslovakia, was one of the first tractors designed and built in Eastern Europe after World War II. Its purpose was clear: create a tractor that was simple, rugged, and easy to maintain in environments where spare parts and modern workshops were scarce. Zetor succeeded brilliantly. The 25 and later UR1 series became symbols of durability, lasting decades in fields, forests, and farms across Eastern Europe and beyond. Many of these machines are still operational today, over 50 years later, thanks to their straightforward design and rebuild-friendly construction. Zetor tractors were built with a philosophy of modularity. Major components like engines, gearboxes, and hydraulic systems were designed to be repaired or swapped out without requiring advanced tools. Farmers could perform most of the maintenance themselves, and local mechanics could fabricate or adapt replacement parts. In rural areas where keeping a tractor running was essential to survival, this simplicity was invaluable. Unlike more complex Western tractors that sometimes required specialized service, Zetors could be fixed with little more than a hammer, spanner, and determination. Their engines were designed for reliability over raw power. Conservative tuning meant that they rarely suffered catastrophic failures, even after thousands of hours of work. Farmers often rebuilt the engines multiple times over the life of the tractor, effectively giving the machine a new lease on life each time. The heavy steel frames and robust axles meant that even after decades of use, the core structure remained sound. Zetors also gained cultural importance in Eastern Europe, symbolizing resilience and practicality. They were tractors for the people, machines that proved themselves under socialism and beyond. Today, vintage Zetor clubs across Europe keep the legacy alive, celebrating tractors that have shown they can outlast almost anything. The Zetor 25 and UR1 series are not just survivors, they are icons of toughness. Number 8. Fordson, Major and Super Major. The Fordson Major and its successor, the Super Major, were British-built tractors that became global workhorses. Produced during the 1950s and 60s, these tractors were renowned for their strong diesel engines, straightforward design, and the ability to handle demanding workloads for decades on end. Farmers across Europe, Africa, Asia, and even parts of South America embraced them, and it is not uncommon to find majors and super majors still working 50 to 60 years after they first left the factory floor. The heart of their reliability was their engine. The Fordson diesel was built to be overhauled rather than replaced, with thick cylinder walls that could be rebored multiple times. Bearings, pistons, and seals were replaceable, allowing farmers to keep the same engine block running for decades with periodic rebuilds. The gearbox and rear end were similarly robust, built with heavy-duty gears that resisted wear even under continuous heavy pulling. Farmers often commented that their majors never seemed to tire, no matter how many acres they worked. Another reason for their longevity was Fordson's global reach. Ford, with its extensive production and distribution network, ensured that spare parts were available worldwide. In regions like Africa and India, where tractors were lifelines for food production, this accessibility meant owners could keep them going indefinitely. Local mechanics learned to rebuild majors with ease, and even today, parts can still be sourced or fabricated. Culturally, the Fordson major represented modernization in many countries. It replaced oxen and horses in fields, allowing for larger-scale farming. In the UK, it became an icon of post-war agricultural renewal. In Africa, it was often the first diesel tractor many communities had ever seen. These tractors not only survived mechanically but left an imprint on agricultural history across continents. With so many still running after 50-plus years, the Fordson Major and Super Major are truly timeless machines. Number 9. Belarus MTZ series. The Belarus MTZ tractors, produced in the Soviet Union, were designed with one simple goal: to endure anything. Introduced in the 1950s and still produced in updated forms today, the MTZ 50, MTZ 80, and their relatives are known for being nearly indestructible. Farmers across Eastern Europe, Asia, and Africa have used them continuously for more than half a century, often with minimal resources. Their rugged simplicity and ability to be repaired with basic tools have made them legendary survivors. One of the main reasons Belarus tractors have lasted so long is their no-nonsense design. Their diesel engines are straightforward, with mechanical injection systems that don't require complicated electronics. This makes them reliable even in harsh conditions where modern tractors might fail. The frames and drivetrains are built to withstand extreme use, from pulling heavy plows to working in forestry and construction. Farmers often rebuilt the engines multiple times, extending their lifespans indefinitely. Another factor is interchangeability. Many Belarus parts were designed to be standardized, meaning a broken component could often be replaced with one from another model. In regions where official spare parts were scarce, local workshops fabricated replacements, sometimes welding or machining parts from scratch. This culture of improvisation meant that no Belarus tractor ever truly died. It was simply rebuilt and put back to work. Culturally, Belarus tractors became symbols of Soviet practicality. They weren't glamorous, but they were reliable, affordable, and available in large numbers. Even today, in countries like Ukraine, Russia, and parts of Africa, MTZ tractors from the 1960s and 70s can still be seen plowing fields. Their endurance is a testament not only to the design, but to the resilience of the communities that kept them alive. For sheer toughness and the ability to keep going for 50-plus years, few tractors compare to the Belarus MTZ series. Number 10. Kubota L series. While many of the tractors on this list are large, rugged machines from the mid-20th century, the Kubota L series proves that even compact tractors can achieve legendary longevity. Introduced in the 1960s and continuing into the 70s, these small Japanese-built tractors were designed for versatility, affordability, and long-term reliability. What surprised many farmers and landscapers was just how durable they turned out to be. Even today, many early Kubota L series machines are still running strong after more than 50 years. Kubota's secret was precision engineering combined with conservative design. Their diesel engines were incredibly efficient, running smoothly for thousands of hours with minimal wear. Unlike some compact tractors that were built lightly, Kubotas used high-quality materials and robust transmissions that could handle serious work despite their smaller size. Farmers and contractors loved them because they were easy to use, cheap to run, and incredibly reliable. Another reason for their longevity is Kubota's strong dealer and parts support. The company has always taken pride in backing its equipment, and parts for older models are still relatively easy to find. This has allowed owners to keep their tractors in service for decades, replacing worn hydraulic pumps, belts, or seals as needed. Many Kubota owners also emphasize proper maintenance, knowing that these machines, if cared for, will last practically forever. Culturally, Kubotas changed perceptions of compact tractors. They showed that smaller machines didn't have to be disposable or weak. Farmers used them for everything from mowing and tilling to light construction work, and many continue to use the same tractors today. Their bright orange paint may have faded, but their engines still hum reliably. The Kubota L series proves that even in the age of electronics, a well-designed, mechanically sound tractor can serve faithfully for half a century and beyond. So there you have it, 10 tractors that stood the ultimate test of time, working non-stop for half a century, and proving that true engineering never goes out of style. Which one impressed you the most? Do you think modern tractors will ever last this long? Or was this the golden age of indestructible machines? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this journey into tractor history, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more legendary machines, and share this video with a fellow tractor fan. Until next time, keep those engines running strong.